Hey there, and welcome to Q the Health Podcast. I'm Ashley and Martin, the hostess, with so much love for you listening. Q the Health is here to help you take the right action for your health, healing, and well being. In the first 3 episodes, we talked about reconciliation rules. What do you do when you want to work on a relationship? You want to save it, you want to solve for it. So, we discussed some ways to save things that can be saved and solve for things that can be solved. But sometimes there is another layer in our relationships or in our human interactions that need addressing, whether it's because of personal, professional, or whatever other dynamic in our lives. Some call it a social category, some call it genetics, some call it both. Merriam Webster defines it as any one of the groups that humans are often divided into based on physical traits, or often regarded as common amongst people of a shared ancestry or group of people. They share a common culture, ge- geography, linguistics, or religious origin or background. It's been debated, celebrated, studied, and advocated for. Wherever we stand, wherever you stand, race is a part of our lives. And particularly in certain nations and territories, it's a little bit more observed and paid attention to. It's caused some division and it's also brought people together. Race relations are a hot topic, often, often a hot topic. And then again, in certain places, there's no concern at all. Regardless of what your experiences or where you stand when it comes to the skin that we're in, it is important to know how to navigate doing life with, for some, and maintaining peace with others in your community, families, and those that you meet along the way who may not look like you. So, what do we do? How do we get to the point of being at peace and reconciling when we're angry at the person or aggravated at the person who happens to be black, or who happens to be white, or who happens to be Asian, or Latino, or another race, or another nationality? How do we interact and engage and exist when it comes to race relations? I like to share three things with you that may help you navigate and help you possibly even thrive in your relations racially. For some of you, there's no issue, but you may be thinking about someone that you know, someone that you love, who could use some help in this area. If you're wondering where I'm coming from or what I know about this, my background and my upbringing can shed some light. I am a Southern lady who grew up in a very diverse community. My childhood crew was known as the Rainbow Tribe by a loved one. Different cultures: Asian, black, white, Vietnamese, Thai, Portuguese, Brazilian, some African. We were all there. We were all together. We were all friends. There was also faith and cultural diversity that I've grown up and I'm used to being around. When I went to college, it was no surprise that my friend group included different races and nationalities as well. This has even been true in the workplace. My reality has helped me to know how to not only appreciate myself, my heritage, my culture, but how to love others as well. With that in mind, again, I'd like to share with you a few things that all of us can use to put forward and actually apply when it comes to how we deal with each other racially. One, we can heal and reach peace if peace and healing is needed in these areas by acknowledging parts of our history and figuring out how to move forward peacefully, even if it's agreeing to disagree. Be honest, being truthful by not lying to ourselves and by not lying to others is extremely important. In your honesty, you do want to have some tact, because race relations can be a hot topic and it can push buttons. You want to be honest, but maintain some composure, maintain some tact. Things have happened in our country and have happened globally that aren't so pretty historically. And it does no good to diminish it or to try to refute it. It happened. Was it pretty? Absolutely not. But what's important is that we don't make the same mistakes or do unhealthy things again. We want to make sure we don't repeat those things. And if possible, go the extra mile and try to prevent certain things from happening. So you want to consider we can all heal and reach peace by acknowledging parts of our history and figuring out, how do we do this thing? How do we move forward peacefully, even if it's agreeing to disagree? Even if it's agreeing to disagree. Next, we want to think about loving what makes you you and appreciating others' uniqueness. Learning and embracing who you are and how God made you to be does not have to be difficult. And knowing and loving you doesn't mean that you have to hate or dislike others. You can like you and others at the same time. You can love and like things about your culture and love and like things about other people's cultures at the same time. You can love your grandmother's stewed chicken and love someone else's grandmother's shrimp fried rice. You can love someone else's cultural traditions and love your cultural traditions at the same time. It is okay. It is okay. You are not betraying your culture. You're not betraying yourself, but it is okay for you to love and like, of course, the good things, right? The healthy things that makes you you and the healthy things that makes another culture their culture. And then finally, we want to think about this. Give this some thought. Recognize in many ways we are more alike than different. Grasping this and understanding this concept is a part of what helps us to be empathetic humans. Empathy is my path to you. It's our paths to each other. It is the way that we connect. It is the way that we understand each other. This helps not only with race relations, but in other relations as well, whether it's the work that we do or the roles that we play, again, or the color of our skin. It's a shared experience that connects us. When you are a teacher, for example, right? You get what other teachers have walked through. You empathize with them. When you are a mother or a father, you get what others sometimes have walked through and with what they've dealt with. When you are a person who has a certain identifier, there are certain shared experiences that you can relate to. Maybe not all, but there are sometimes there are shared experiences that you can have. When we are able to connect with other human beings, it helps improve and enrich our lives. It can help and it should help and improve and enrich our lives. Empathy is not something we want to use as a weapon. We don't want to weaponize empathy. Again, it is my path to you and your path to me. It is a way that we can connect and better understand each other and better love each other. When you realize that you have more things in common with folks, even if they don't have the same skin color as you, it makes being able to just enjoy another human being a little bit easier, a little bit easier. And it'll also allow you to not hinder yourself or others if you should embrace somebody. And perhaps you may have been a little bit hesitant to embrace them before because of something that got in the way. We all have biases. We all have some sort of bias. It is depends on the degree of the bias that we have that can make or break a connection, or that can make and break somebody's experience, and that can make someone's experience be a good one or a bad one. So consider those things. So let's think about this. A few key things to remember. Acknowledging parts of our history can help us heal, and working towards not making the same mistakes is even better if we can prevent those things. We also want to think and remember you can love what makes you you and love what makes others others at the same time. It is okay. We can do two things at the same time. We can chew gum and walk. And then finally, we want to recognize that in a lot of ways, if you think about it, we're more alike than we are different. And that'll get us to a healthier place. So if you know someone who could benefit from hearing and putting the rules to use, please like this and please share this with them. If you'd like to share something that has helped you and has worked for you so far, do not hesitate to comment. If you have a question, don't hesitate to comment. Until next time.